So, what if our reality isn't what it seems? I mean, what if it's actually a prison, one crafted by a lesser god, and all the stars in the sky are just the bars on our cage? And what if, instead of trying to escape, someone decided to just seize the keys and become the new warden? Okay, let's dive into this.
We're going to start with a warning. This quote, it really sets the stage for our entire journey today. The search for cosmic truth isn't just some intellectual game. It can be a really dangerous pact with forces that see our desperate search for meaning as a weakness, something to be exploited.
To even begin to understand the prison, we first have to go way back in time, to a group of ancient mystics who had a pretty radical view of the universe.
Now, what's so wild about this is how it completely reframes reality. For the ancient Scythian Gnostics, this was a major mystical school from the early centuries. The universe wasn't some perfect, divine creation. No way. They saw it as a cosmic error, a flawed, beautiful, and incredibly intricate trap, designed for one purpose: to keep our souls tied to the physical world.
And of course, every prison needs guards. In Gnosticism, these are the archons. Now, think of them less like demons with pitchforks and more like, cosmic bureaucrats or celestial wardens. Their entire job is to maintain the system and make sure not a single soul gets out.
So who's the warden in charge of this whole operation? Meet the Demiurge. And let's be clear, this is not the ultimate all-loving god. He's an arrogant, pretty ignorant creator who built our reality as a flawed imitation of a true, spiritual realm that he could only get a glimpse of, and he did it using divine light that he had stolen. He is the architect of the prison.
And this slide right here shows you just how deep this prison goes. According to ancient texts, like the ones they found in the Nag Hammadi library in Egypt, it's not a building, it's the cosmos itself. The planets we see in the night sky, those are the thrones of the archons. The zodiac that people use to chart their fate, that's the actual structure of the cage, a flawed copy of the 12 divine beings, or aeons, that exist in the true spiritual realm, the pleroma.
Okay, so if you're trapped in a prison made of stars, how in the world do you get out? Well, the Gnostics had a plan. They had a key to unlock the doors of perception.
This is the crucial point right here. Gnosticism isn't about making your life better here on Earth. It's not about social reform or trying to fix the system. For the Gnostics, the system is the problem. The only real solution is transcendence, a complete jailbreak of the soul.
And here it is, their key, the 5 seals. And this wasn't just some metaphor. A lot of scholars believe it was a very real ritual, described in texts like the Trimophic Protanoia from that same Nag Hammadi library. It involved a series of 5 full dips in living water, like a running river, that basically acted as a spiritual passport. It stamped your soul with a divine authority that the archons, those guards at the gate, had to respect.
Let's just break down how this worked. It was like a ladder, a path of ascent. You weren't just being washed clean, you were being systematically deprogrammed from the material world. You were glorified, you were enthroned, you were robed in light, step by step, until your soul was totally restored to its original divine state, free from the prison of matter.
And right here, everything changes. The ancient story is all about purification and escape, but a modern story asks a much, much darker question. What if you could just flip the entire process on its head? What if you could take control of the prison itself?
Welcome to Primal Ascension. This is the dark mirror of Gnosticism, a true narrative inversion. Instead of purifying the soul to get back to the light, this path is all about embracing primordial chaos, that raw, screaming energy that existed before creation, to become a kind of god monster inside the system.
So let's explore this dark inversion, this philosophy of choosing domination over liberation.
This just lays it all out, plain as day. The 5 seals sought liberation through purification. The goal was to get back to the light. Primal Ascension, on the other hand, seeks domination through corruption. And the end goal isn't to be free, it's to become a monster. A new kind of god who gets to rewrite the rules of the cage.
And what's the first thing you do once you become the warden? You build a better prison. This is the Omega Sanction. It's not death. It's a death that is a life. Your consciousness gets trapped in an endless loop of hopeless synthetic lives. A psychological hell that only the new God Warden can let you out of.
I know, this all might sound pretty abstract and philosophical, but let's look at a case study of how these ideas can be forged into something very real and, frankly, terrifying.
So we're going to deconstruct a fictional entity called Amazoth. It's the perfect synthesis of this dark modern philosophy of domination, a living, breathing embodiment of primal ascension.
Just look at the components here. It's a horrifying recipe. You take adaptive technology, you merge it with a biological plague, you give it the cynical, demonic will of a Mephistopheles, and then you power the whole thing with a twisted, weaponized version of Nietzsche's philosophy.
And the final product? It's not just a monster. It's a self-evolving biological supercomputer with a demonic ego. And its goal isn't just to conquer the world, it's to break the world. To trigger a forced, violent evolution and just see what crawls out of the wreckage.
And that's what makes this threat so insidious, so dangerous. Amazoth doesn't just attack you with its fists, it attacks you with an idea. It offers a bargain: accept this infection and evolve, become a god. It tempts all of humanity into building its own better prison, a super hive mind where your individuality is just lost to collective power.
It literally weaponizes philosophy. It calls heroes the last men, which is a term from the philosopher Nietzsche for the pathetic, comfort-seeking opposite of the true overman. It argues that things like mercy, compassion, and heroism are just a slave morality, a cosmic welfare system that's keeping humanity weak and preventing us from achieving godhood through struggle.
So, why? Why do we keep telling these stories? Why do we keep shifting from these ancient quests for escape to these modern nightmares of control?
It's because these entities, whether it's an ancient demiurge or a modern god machine, they represent more than just a physical threat. They're a blend of machine and soul and chaos. They're cautionary tales about what can happen when the desire to become more than human leads us to become something, well, inhuman. When the hunt for godhood ends in a total loss of what makes us who we are.
Which brings us to the final question, really. The ancient Gnostics, they wanted to escape the system. These modern myths, they're all about becoming the system. So, as we build our own ever more complex technological and social prisons, which path are we on? Are we looking for the exit, or are we trying to take control of the machine?